What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a banger of a story video, a true hoot and a holler. But before we get any further into this, there's a few things I need to address. First and foremost, drop a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already, and also, I get it, dude, scumbag content creator, hasn't posted in a month, all right? I deserve the wrath, but I've been very, very busy cooking on all my other platforms. Crackheads, my new podcast with Kyle. You guys know him as Kevin. We've been cooking full steam ahead. Gobcast, we've been putting out some of the craziest interviews ever. Just had Brandon Novak from Jackass on there. Also, all of my story videos are now officially on Spotify. So all you have to do is either scan the QR code on your screen right now or just scroll down and click the link in the comment section, and you can listen to all of my story videos on Spotify with your phone locked. If you just like to listen to stuff with your AirPods in or however you like to do it, this is the best way to do it. And Spotify actually pays me ad revenue, which is something that YouTube hasn't done for almost 3 years straight now. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. So, thank you all in advance for going to check out the Spotify. Listening on there really genuinely helps support me quite a bit, and I appreciate it greatly. Without further ado, let's dive right into the video. Now, pretty often people ask me if I've had any meaningful psychedelic experiences in the sense of like eye-openers or real like, oh, I learned something, I had an ego death or a breakthrough, and I've definitely had quite a few notable psychedelic trips in my life. However, I've never been the kind of person who seeks that experience out. You see, when I drop a tab of acid or I take some shrooms or however I end up tripping that day, I don't go into it thinking like, man, this is an area of myself I'd really like to work on. I didn't check, my chakras and make sure they were aligned and check my astrology report before I dropped my tab. No, the reality of the situation most of the time was that psychedelics were the cheapest way to make myself retarded for 8 to 12 hours, and that's exactly why I was eating them. However, as I've gotten older and a little more wiser, almost like a Gandalf-style psychedelic consumer over the years, I've started to have these type of meaningful experiences, whether I like it or not. They're almost forced upon me at this point, and there's a number of factors that I think go into why that started happening to me. I mean, first and foremost, I think it's just the adult mind. I think as you get older, your mind just expands and you start thinking of more things and you think in ways that you possibly couldn't even comprehend when you were younger. I know that happens to me very much often now. My mindset about things now is completely different. The way they say your brain doesn't stop growing until 25 years old, yeah, I didn't believe that because when I was like 16, I thought I knew everything. And now that I'm 26, I'm still retarded. But I think what was one of my most meaningful psychedelic experiences I've probably ever had happened just a couple years ago right after I moved to LA. You see, I was never the kind of person who would like mentally prepare for a trip or really make sure that I was in the right headspace to have a hard psychedelic trip. I would always just go for it, balls to the wall. Despite how many times I tell you guys all this harm reduction advice and how much I say like, oh, make sure you're in the right headspace for psychedelic experiences. That is a piece of advice that I pretty much never followed in my entire life. So I mean, just understand that I don't follow my own advice, but that's why you probably shouldn't follow in my footsteps, right? So on this particular day, I had just moved to LA. I'm talking like this was my first month living in LA. This was back in September of 2023. And at the time, I was completely fucking broke. Not in the sense of like, oh, I was really down bad. When I lived in Springfield, Illinois, I was way broker than this, but I had sold pretty much everything to move out here to California to start my podcast and do what I had to do. And I was down bad. I was really, really down bad. And for me, this is something that I haven't talked about very much, but money is always like a sense of pride thing for me. The way I was raised, I had a dad who like was very disconnected, but money was the way that he raised me basically. So he wouldn't like spend time with me or like, teach me how to ride a bike or like take me to the park or something. He'd buy me shit. He would buy me a video game. He would buy me a pack of Pokemon cards. He was the consumerism final boss, right? And he would do this weird thing after my parents divorced when I was super young. I was like 3 years old. Every Christmas, he would always ball the fuck out. And it's not like I had a list that was insane. It was just he would just buy a million things I didn't ask for, so the presents were stacked higher. He was playing this little mind game. And growing up, it worked, right? I was always like, oh, my dad makes so much money. I remember one year I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, why don't you have as much money as my dad? I was like 8 years old. I didn't get it yet, but it's like my brain was almost poisoned with this connection to currency, right? It was a very, very real thing for me. And my dad would always talk about it. He would tell me how much money he made. I remember he told me when he made $100,000 in a year when I was a kid. And that was like I was like, oh my God, like $100,000 is basically trillionaire status, right? My mom was very poor. She was not very well off. My dad, on the other hand, was like upper middle class. Like he was doing pretty damn good for himself. And he would rub that shit in my face because he knew that I would go tell my mom about it because I thought it was so cool because he like conditioned me to think that was very cool. So in moments where I'm down bad and broke, it's not just a thing of like, oh, I don't have much money, it feels bad. It is a legitimate shot to my pride. Like it shoots me in the heart. It's like, oh, it's part of the reason that whenever I go to the casino and gamble, I'll never gamble down to $0. I'll never, ever blow my whole bankroll because at the end of the day, I can't. I would rather get shot in the side of the head. I just can't do it. It's a psychological clutch in my brain that even though I haven't spoken to my dad in like 7 years, I still hang on to that, right? So right after I moved to LA, it was my first time being broke in years, right? Like I hadn't been down bad like this. I thought I made it out, right? I hadn't been down bad like this in years. So I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm going to start getting fucked up. I mean, I got to have some fun. I got like 2 weeks until my next wire hits. I got to figure this shit out. And it wasn't a truly down bad poor scenario of like, oh, no more money's coming. I just paid my deposit on my new apartment, which was like $6,000. It was 2 months of rent. This was before California made it so you can only charge 1 month as a deposit. Literally months before that law took effect. Fucking just my luck, right? I had to pay, obviously, to move all my stuff. I threw away most of my big stuff because I couldn't afford the movers, and then moved into an apartment where I don't know if I still have the picture. I don't think I do, but some of you guys might remember I posted a picture of my living room when I moved into my new spot, and it was literally a folding chair in front of my TV on the floor. And my apartment looked like that for like pretty much the first month. Like I didn't really have any real furniture for a little while. So I'm just in this derelict, empty-ass apartment getting absolutely fucking lit. And one day I'm chilling, and I decide I'm going to take some shrooms. And I had these chocolate bars that I brought with me from all the way back home, a brand that I don't want to name because no free shout-outs around here. I don't want people getting scammed trying to find the brand, joining a fake Telegram and getting owned. But this is a brand that I don't think even exists anymore. These guys probably wrapped it up, went to prison. Who knows? I don't know. But they made these incredible shroom chocolates. Like out of all the shroom chocolates I tried, this one brand I had found made the strongest ones that made me tweak my fucking dick off. And I had brought a bunch of these packs with me, and it was one of the only things I had left to get fucked up. It was pretty much either weed or shrooms. So I was like, all right, dude, let's eat a bunch of shrooms. And my plan for the day was pretty much next to nothing. I was just going to eat some shrooms and sit at my desk and like play some video games. I just needed to pass time. I had to sit there and suffer and figure out a way to not log into my bank account and realize I'm down bad, baby. So I ended up eating 5 pieces of this chocolate. And these chocolate bars, a bar is not really a fair way to describe it. They were triangles. Like every single pack of these chocolates was shaped as a triangle. And if I remember correctly, I think it was 9 pieces per like chocolate triangle, chocolate shape, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Triangle's just a mouthful. We're just going to call it a bar from here on out. I just wanted to help you visualize what I was eating. But either way, I break off, if I remember correctly, it was 5 pieces of my chocolate triangle. So I ate over half of this bar in one sitting, which my typical dose was 2 to 3 pieces. And don't think like, oh, this guy's a lightweight, 2 to 3 pieces ain't shit. These bars were fucked up. They were grinding up a lot of shrooms to put in these bad boys. I don't know how much. There weren't any dosages on the side of it. This was a real homemade product, cooking in the lab. This was some shit that made me tweak every time. I can't tell you what the recommended dose was. There had been no one to ever recommend anything. The only recommendation given to me when I bought these was buckle up, all right? And I buckled up every fucking time. But I ended up eating 5 pieces, which, if I remember correctly, this is the most I've ever eaten of these type of chocolate bars. Like, this was my very, very highest dose of these chocolate bars in one go. I'd parachuted more pieces throughout a day before, but just in one sitting, I'd never just drilled 5 before like that. So I ate all 5 pieces with absolutely no plan and no one around me to hang out with. And I'm like, cool, dude, I'll just sit at my desk and, like, get high. And, like, this time I won't beat off because, like, I'm not on stims this time. I'm just on mushrooms. So I'll just, I'll be seeing Jesus or something in about an hour. Either way, maybe 45 minutes to an hour go by. Don't really know how long. And eventually, this shit hits me. But before it really hits me and I start getting the visual effects and the real psychedelic come up, it hits me in the gut. There's something about shrooms. I don't know what it is about psilocybin, but, like, man, this shit fucked me up. And these shroom bars, they weren't using liquid psilocybin. They were, like, actually grinding up mushrooms and putting them in the chocolate. You would sometimes get the little flakes of the mushrooms in the piece if you chewed it long enough. So I think that contributed to my nausea with these pretty often. I mean, psilocybin fucks my tummy up, but 5 pieces absolutely wrecked it. So I go to the bathroom. I'm sitting there like, oh, dude, I just got to take a really big dump. Like, okay, all right, lunch is coming back. Like, no problem, dude. Pre-game of the trip. Get this out of the way early before I can't feel the toilet paper on the end of my fingers. Like, sure, dude, let's just do it. I don't want to be shit and then be tripping too hard where I, try to wipe my ass and end up shoving my finger up there. Like, fuck it, dude. Let's go ahead and take care of this now. So I get on the toilet. And my stomach is just doing flips. And I think when I moved to the bathroom and then I sat down pretty quickly and I got a real, like, vertigo type effect where all of a sudden nothing was still anymore. I'm looking at the wall across from me, and my bathroom was very plain at this point because I just moved in. So there was nothing to look at. It wasn't like, oh, I can just look at this nice painting on the wall. No, there was no pictures. There was no art, no nothing. Literally a plain white wall. And these almost surgery room style white lights. I had these white light bulbs that were installed in my apartment early on because that's just what came with the place. And I obviously wasn't replacing them on my poverty bank account budget. So I just had to make do. I'm sitting on the toilet and all of a sudden my wall, all the little specks on my wall start moving. I don't have a smooth wall. I don't have a smooth wallpaper. It's painted as if someone poured a pack of nerds on the side of my wall and glued it on there and then just fucking took a bucket of white paint and just ran it over all the nerds. There's these bumps all over my wall. It looks like my wall is getting goosebumps and I'm sitting there just staring at it. All the while my stomach is hurting, but I'm not even... It's not like I need to take a shit type of pain. It's just like hey, I better preemptively sit here on this toilet just in case type of pain. But the wall's moving now. My wall has just grown goosebumps. My building, it feels like I'm on the inside of a giant. My building's about to stand up and start walking away. I'm like, yo, this is too fucking much. Like, I can't do this. I close my eyes for a brief moment, and I start getting vertigo again. I don't know if vertigo is even the right term for what I was experiencing, but just this feeling, it was almost like I was falling or like moving up in the air, but I was stationary. It just didn't feel that way. And closing my eyes really, really made that worse. And this was the come up, mind you. Like, this was the initial experience. So I had no idea what I just signed myself up for. I'm sitting there like, oh, fuck, dude. This is so over with. It's not even funny, right? And I decide quickly, I'm like, all right, I have to get off the toilet. So, I mean, I'm going to describe this. I want you guys to really visualize this for a moment. Pants at my ankles because I'm sitting on the toilet. I don't pull my pants up or anything. I exit the toilet and I go straight down to the ground, like pretty much fetal position. I'm just laying on the ground because now I'm starting to think like, oh, dude, I might throw up. I remember I burped at one point. I was just sitting there and I let out a little burp and I was like, oh, dude, fuck, it's coming out the other end. Assume the position, boys, get down. I believed pretty firmly that I was about to shit and yak at the same time. So I climb off the toilet, which strategically I should have stayed on there if I was about to shit and yak. Like I would rather clean up puke from my floor than shit, but I wasn't thinking like that. So I get down on the ground, fetal position, pants still at my ankles, right? Like I didn't pull anything up, and the cold ground just hits. I feel this immediate sense of relief. I'm like, oh, this feels so good. Like this is really nice. I have these fake laminate wood floors that just they retain nothing but the coldest air in the building. They just sadness and cool air is the only thing you get out of these fake wood floors. My feet are on them right now, dude. I'm running my toes across them, and I mean it's violently fake wood. It's not even close to real wood, dude. There's probably Chinese chemicals seeping into my bones right now, dude. I'm gonna have COVID 25. But either way, I'm laying on the ground and I'm like, okay, this is good. And I start really like, whenever I get overwhelmed like this is far from my first time having this experience on psychs, but whenever I really get overwhelmed like this, I kind of just focus in on one very mundane, very plain kind of thing, which the harder you're tripping, the harder it is to find something that seems mundane because every mundane thing has just become the most insane moving art piece in the room all of a sudden. So I'm looking at the indents on my wooden floor, my wooden being a loose term, and I'm looking at all the different little rivets in it and the little lines and like the fake wood patterns, and everything's moving. And it almost looks like in between the gaps of the wood, there's a little river flowing because of how everything's moving. Obviously, there wasn't any actual water down there, but it just, the way everything was moving, it almost looked like that. Like the wood panel had become waves in a big wooden ocean on the floor of my bathroom. And in that moment, I still was just getting more nauseous. Even the wood, I couldn't find any solace in the wood. That shit was still moving. So I remember I was laying on my side at first, and then I just went straight down. And I remember, if you guys have ever slept like face down on a pillow, you know how you kind of like cross your arms on your forehead and like put your head down on your forehead, or imagine you're sleeping at your desk at school, right? The way that like you kind of put your arms on it, and like put your head down between your arms so no one can wake you up. That's what I was doing face down on my bathroom floor. I ended up going completely belly down, put my head down, and just closed my eyes because it was so overwhelming. I couldn't tell if I was going to puke, shit, or explode. It was absolutely horrible. And I still to this day don't know why this occurred or what sparked it. Maybe it was just me being broke and being in my head about that or what. But when I laid down and when I closed my eyes, for a moment, everything kind of slowed down. Everything worked. Closing my eyes had the effect I expected. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing my dad. Like, I heard a conversation with my dad. I don't know if this is a conversation that ever really happened. It wasn't one that I specifically remembered. And the weirdest thing about it is, like, I didn't actually hear it. Like, it wasn't, I don't say I heard it in the sense of like, oh, it's almost as if someone was whispering it in my ear. No, when I say I heard it, it's almost like I closed my eyes and the screen of text was displayed. And you know, it was my dad typing the text out. Except I didn't see any text either. My vision was totally black, but I sensed it. Like I heard, it's real. I don't have the words for it, guys. Maybe one of you in the comments will. I don't have the words for it, but either way, it was like my dad was telepathically speaking to me, and I heard him, and he was like, "You fucking loser. You broke ass motherfucker. You fucking bum." Growing up, especially when I started my real drug addiction era and really kind of falling off the wagon a little bit, my dad always talked down on me. He would tell me all the time. He's like, "You're a failure. You're not gonna be shit." He would always say this shit about me. And over the years, I built this real resentment towards him because of that. And it was something that stuck with me a lot. You know, for example, when I would be having a bad day and I'd be doing a bunch of blow, I'd get real hyped up, really into myself. And I'd always be thinking, I'd be like, man, I'm doing better than my dad now. And I'd just go rail a fatter fucking line to kind of play into that a little bit. It was a real thing that like I never really worked through as like in a real way. Like I never did any therapy or anything like that. Hey, therapy's for the hoes. Hey, what can I say? I'm not doing that shit. But you know what I will say is I think a lot of these type of psychedelic experiences really helped me through it. And this was the first one. This was the first time that like I was ever tripping and sat there and like thought about my dad. And I got really kind of lost in this thought loop. At first it was just hearing him almost beaming down upon me, like imagine Jesus came down and he was just like, "You're a broke idiot," you know, like that was pretty much what I was envisioning. My holy father coming down and saying, "Son, you're a fucking loser, just as I predicted," right? And I'm laying on the bathroom floor tweaking out, tummy ache, like, "Yeah, Dad, you might be right," you know? And I start really pondering my whole life. I start really getting deeply, deeply lost into this train of thoughts of like, why does he think that way about me? Am I really this? Do I think I'm a loser? And it ended, I started like almost talking to myself mentally, where I'm in my head, I'm like, you're not a fucking loser. You're not even poor, dude. You got money coming in 2.5 weeks. Like, yeah, you're not even poor, dude. You still have a few $100 in Bitcoin you haven't sold. Like, you're all good. You're not even poor. You're completely A-okay. I start gassing myself up. It was a really strange experience. I have never in my life had a deep psychedelic, like, thought trip like that. And I remember I damn near wanted to call my dad in that moment. I almost did it. I was like, oh shit, I might bang his line, call him up, be like, yo, do you still think I'm an idiot or not? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have his phone number anymore, but that was a really like sobering moment. I remember it didn't even feel like I was tripping. It felt like I was having some deeply, deeply introspective, almost spiritual type of experience where I was like in my body talking to myself. It almost felt like, have you guys ever seen the TV shows or the movies where like someone dies and then they come back and then for a brief moment they're in like purgatory, like they're standing in just a void of darkness and there's like a person speaking to them in there? That's really what this felt like for me. It felt like I went to purgatory with my own thoughts for a moment and was just conversing with myself, just consulting on my own feelings and emotions. And that's something that, I'm a very emotionally reserved kind of guy. Like, I'm not the kind of person who's just going to go up to someone, like, talk to my homie and be like, man, I'm really feeling sad today. Like, no, dude, if I'm feeling sad today, I'm going to do drugs. We're not going to discuss that. If you ask me how I'm doing, I'm good. And it's something that I wouldn't even discuss with myself. Like, when I was feeling down or bad or, questioning something, I would never reflect inwardly. I would never do that. It was a skill that I think I have genuinely developed partially from this shroom trip, but overall just from psychedelic experiences. I think what this trip really gave me, and one of the most valuable things that I've ever gotten out of mushrooms and just psychs in general, is the ability to emotionally reflect on myself. It almost reestablished my emotional connection. I think another part of that is drugs really disconnected it for years. I mean, I self-medicated every day. Every time I had a problem, it was just fuck it, blow, ketamine, Molly, Zans, fucking whatever the hell, whatever I could get my hands on. Pretty much anything except an oxy. Even some days I'd take I've done oxys plenty of times before. Some days maybe even an oxy. Whatever the fuck, I didn't care. But I almost feel like the trip that repaired the bridge. Drugs had very severely disconnected me from the reality of my emotions and my mental state. And I think this was, strangely enough, being fetal position on my bathroom floor, trying not to shit and puke at the same time, somehow bridged the gap between my brain and my emotions. It's like the left side and the right side of my bridge the left side, the right side of my brain were connected once again. It took me a moment to process what I just did there. Oopsie. But either way, I remember I woke up. It felt like being born again, dude. I raised up my head. I opened my eyes, leaned over the toilet, immediately fucking vomited. I knew it was coming. I throw up a lot off the shrooms. The shrooms fuck me up, dude. I have to, it doesn't even matter what form factor it is. Psilocybin just makes me nauseous, dude. It fucks my shit up. Immediately throw up. Luckily, don't shit myself. And I get up, I stand up, tweaking, mind you. Like, I'm still tripping. When I had my eyes closed in that moment, it didn't feel like I was tripping, but I came back to, and oh my God, the countertop is slanted all of a sudden. It looks like the building had been through an earthquake. Everything's all fucked up. The light is too bright. I remember turning off all the light to my bathroom and just sitting in there using my phone light. And I turned on my flashlight and pointed it up at the ceiling just to have some lighter light in there, lighter in the sense of dimmer, I guess. No, dimmer light. Yeah, lighter light's not the... Dude, I'm fucking high right now. I don't know, dude. I took a dab before I recorded this. I should have done that. That was a bad decision. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking like, oh, wow, Goblin, you had such a breakthrough moment in the bathroom. Surely you're going to go act on that now and I don't know, do something really, really meaningful, right? No, I actually I have no idea why I did this. I think I just wanted to smoke a fat fucking joint at the time. I wanted to smoke a hash hole, but I absolutely can't roll a joint to save my life. To this day, I can't roll a joint to save my life, which, as someone who has been smoking as long as I have, that's somewhat embarrassing now. I smoked blunts my whole childhood and then quit tobacco, and here we are. I can't roll for shit anymore. But I called an Uber and I wanted to just go to the dispensary and buy a hash hole to smoke. I was like, fuck it, dude, we're out of here. Let's go to the dispo. So I called this Uber, tripping balls. And like I'm tweaking, but it's manageable. Like everything around me's moving, but I don't feel sick anymore. I feel okay. Like I feel like I could pull this off. And I remember I'm thinking like, yo, this is going to be great, dude. I'm just going to go get stoned. I'm going to go to the dispo. I was in a really happy mood. Like even right after like curing this emotional distress in my brain and curing this physical distress in my stomach, you know, I just felt really happy all of a sudden, but I still in the back of my head was like, huh, I hope I don't shit myself in this Uber. You know, I call this Uber. This guy pulls up, says nothing to me. One of the nice things about Ubers here in LA is 99% of the drivers barely speak English. And like, no, that's not a joke. Like legit. There was a guy yesterday who picked me, not yesterday, it was like 3 days ago now, who picked me up. I got in the car. I say to him, I'm like, hey man, how's your day going? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, all right, well, fuck, dude, I can't talk to this guy, which is a good thing for me in this state because any conversation I had with this Uber driver probably would have been one of the most uncomfortable conversations of his entire life, dude. I would have probably trauma dumped on him and then asked if he could pull over so I could shit on a guardrail, you know, like it just wouldn't have ended well. But he drives me to this dispensary that's like maybe 15 minutes away from my apartment. You know, we're in the valley at this point, and I hop out of the Uber and I remember I'm standing there on the curb and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got all my shit. I'm just literally standing outside of this dispensary. There's like a gated parking lot. I'm on the other side of the wall and I'm surrounded. Dude, right across from the dispo is like 5 tweaker RVs and them boys are chilling outside. They're not like eyeing me up or anything, but they're just, it's an overwhelming environment to be in, to say the least. Too many people around me. I jump out. I remember trying to log into my banking app to make sure I had money in my checking to go pull out because I had to pull out from the ATM in the lobby of this place because they only take cash because that's how a lot of the dispensaries are here because they're probably not claiming their taxes, you know. But either way, I end up, you know, logging into my bank account, getting in there, kind of getting lost in the sauce. I start swiping through social media and texting homies and shit. More time goes by, and I've now been standing outside of this dispensary for like 15 minutes. I turn around ready to go into the dispensary. And mind you, I'm still tripping dick. Everything around me is fucked, right? At this point, it's less of a visual trip and really a mental and like sensory trip in the sense of like, I feel loose, but almost electric, you know, my arms are feeling really almost jello-y. I get this real loose effect whenever I take shrooms specifically. I don't get this on acid, but shrooms, it almost feels like I'm like the inflatable tube man. Like I feel loose. I feel like I could flail around in the wind, even though I'm a fat fucking idiot, you know? Like I really believe that shit. I feel like a ballerina almost off the shrooms. I don't know. I'm just loose off that shit, right? So I'm feeling silly, but I'm getting a sensory overload. I'm starting to feel really overwhelmed. I don't think I realize how hard I was tripping until I was standing on a curb in broad daylight with like 20 tweakers across the street side-eyeing me and like trying to log into my bank account to see if I have enough money to go buy a hash hole. And I just, in that moment, I was like, yo, fuck this. Like, I can't do it. I went all the way to the dispo, and then I got out of the car, and then it said, no, actually, I signed myself up for too much here. I am not walking into that dispensary. I don't even want to talk to somebody right now. So what do? I call another fucking Uber. Well, I'm dirt broke, mind you. I needed that Uber money so bad. In the city of LA, a 3-mile Uber is like $30 fucking dollars, okay? It's unbelievable. It's actually more than that. It's like $40 almost. It's insane, right? It is insane. No, you know what? Let's do a field study right now. I'm going to go on the Uber app, and the exact dispensary I went to, I know exactly which one because I go to the same one fairly often. Here we go. All right, I'm typing it in. Okay. It is 5 miles away, and it is $37.97. yeah, this state is fucked up. So Here I am. I've spent like $80 on two Ubers and 37.97 before tip. I'd like to highlight. So I've spent $80 on two Ubers. That $80 was nearly my net worth at this time. So I jump in my second Uber. My second driver comes and picks me up. This guy was lit, luckily. He already had all the windows down. He's blaring some music, which was presumably Armenian, judging by the cologne that I smelled and the neighborhood I was in. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was some good old Armenian music, right? Picks me up. Fucking whips it, dude. This guy was amazing. He almost, I feel like he could sense like, oh, I need to get this guy home with the utmost haste. And he just absolutely pulled it off. This boy was cutting the fuck up. Gets me home in record time. 5 miles, 5 seconds. Absolutely no problem. Drops me back off. I go back into my apartment and I'm sitting in my apartment now and I have accomplished nothing except losing $90 and like patting myself on the back for like, hey man, just because you're poor doesn't mean you're a fuck up. Like, oh, that's so comforting, dude. Like, wow, I feel so good about myself now. So I remember I get back and I go sit in my living room and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take a bong rip, you know? I, for some reason, really wanted to smoke the fattest joint I could when I first called that Uber. But after getting home and realizing that I signed myself up for too much, I was much more content with just taking a seat and doing what I had to do in my living room. So I took some bong rips and I ended up sitting down, just vibing the fuck out of my PlayStation. I also had a Nintendo 64 still at this point. I still have this. I don't know why I made it sound like I only had it back then. I still own the same console, but I had an N64. And I remember I booted that bitch up and I plugged in Mario 64. I put Mario 64 in that shit. And I didn't have any like upscaler yet, so it kind of sucked because like I'm playing this Nintendo console that's 20, 30 years old on a new generation 4K TV. So there's hella input lag. It played like shit. It was completely horrible. I had this cheap little HDMI converter for it. It was a dog shit experience, yet it also wasn't because I was just sitting there enjoying the colors, looking around like, having some nostalgia. Super Mario 64 was one of the most nostalgic games for me ever. I played so much of it when I was a kid. I adored that fucking video game. And I just melted my day away in my living room, basically, you know? The real meaning of this trip for me wasn't like, oh, this is a super memorable experience. Oh, I did some fun shit. This was the first time that I got a real noticeable emotional experience out of a trip. Like this was one of those almost breakthrough trips for me. When people sit there and talk about like, oh, I'm going on an ayahuasca retreat to hopefully align my emotions. Like this is the kind of thing I envision they're trying to do. And I was thankfully able to do it curled up on the floor of my bathroom, trying not to shit my pants, which I'm very, very grateful for. I'm also very, very grateful for all of you guys watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. So make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And also, don't forget to check us out on Spotify now. I got all my content on there. And I say us because it's not just me. We also have my show with Kyle up on Spotify, Crackheads, and the Gobcast. Honestly, there's more content than ever for you guys to watch out of me nowadays. I'm sorry for being a scumbag and not posting on the main for a month. But hey, here I am, sweetie pie. Embrace me. Give me a little smooch, okay? Give me a little kiss on the forehead or something. Oh, it's so good to be back. Oh, I'm like a dog getting his belly rubbed. Oh, my God. Oh, thanks for watching.